It's literally the 6th of December. I need to read 10 books in the next 3 weeks. I'm going to do it. I will do it. I hope I do it because I can't even deal. First book, this book. I actually started it yesterday and I've gotten this far. On page 82, chapter 23, and it's going well, albeit quite slow. You know, it is a mystery fiction and it definitely reads like a fiction, so they're obviously setting things up, but I am liking it. I've been liking fiction a lot more these days, and yeah, I'm just excited to see where it goes, and I really hope it's not like slow all through. I hope it really picks up. Something has happened, something quite, I wouldn't say unexpected, but you know, something that should hasten the plot. So hopefully it picks up and things, you know, move faster, because it's kind of putting me in a little bit of a slump. I have not read any book this December and we're on the 6th. Like, what is going on? This book, by the way, is about 4 80-year-olds who live in this retirement village, and they just like have this club where they solve unsolved murders, but then a murder, like an actual murder, happens on their doorstep, not literally but metaphorically, and now they are trying to solve it themselves. So yeah, it's going good. The characters are quite interesting, quite funny, as funny as 80-year-olds can be, you know. But yeah, I just hope it picks up because that's my only qualm right now. But if it doesn't pick up, I'm going to start reading Metal Slinger. This is a book that Emmy Rosam, she's a booktuber, one of my favorite booktubers. She has been raving about this book for months and months now. Like, she talks about it in like every video of hers, and she has gotten so many people to read it, and the people that I have seen read it because of her also give it high praise. So I'm like, wait, hold up. And something that is really drawing me to the book is the fact that everybody says it's very fast-paced and you just get straight into it, and honestly, I really need something like that. It is a fantasy and I'm pretty sure also a romantasy, so I just need that right now. So if this book doesn't pick up soon, I'm just going to go into that. Not like I'm DNFing it or anything, but I think I'm going to like read them in tandem, so I am not as bored as this book is trying to make me. This book, get thee behind me. But yeah, I will see you guys when I see you, and I will let you know whatever happens. Hey guys, it's the next day and I fear I might be in something of a book slump. Like, it's not even that I don't want to read, it's just that I physically cannot bring myself to sit down and read for an extended amount of time, and I don't know why that is. Like, I genuinely have no idea, and it's like just the worst timing ever. Like, I need to read but I physically can't, and it's pissing me off. It really is. Another thing is that I've been editing, you know, videos, pre-filming and pre-editing. So I just edited 2 videos and one of them is uploading right now. So I've been lying here for like 1 hour now while it is uploading. I don't know why it's taking that long, by the way. And I've read almost 100 pages, which is my goal currently for this book. I'm currently at page 160, and when I get to page 177, that would make it 100 pages that I have read. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I truly don't know. It's not even that the book is bad, quite the opposite actually. It's really good. Like, I'm really enjoying it for what it is. I just cannot deal. So when I get to my 100-page goal, I'm going to start reading a different book because I don't think my attention span can handle it right now. I think I'm going to start Metal Slinger because I've heard that that book is very fast-paced and, you know, it just keeps you wanting to read throughout, and I think that's exactly what I need. This book, it is good, but it is quite slow, and while I'm enjoying it, it's just not the book I need right now, you know. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading and I will let you know whatever happens, because right now things are not looking great. Okay guys, I have just finished page 177, and that's actually the last page of chapter 55. So I would be going into chapter 56 when I pick this up again. And that's something I really love about the book. You know, the chapters are very short. They're like 1-page chapters, 2-page chapters, and it's making me feel like I'm reading way more than I actually am. So I really like that. And the book in general, I am really liking. It's not, you know, the best thing in the world right now. It hasn't really caught my attention the way that I would like it to, but I am generally liking it for what it is. Right now it's currently sitting at like a 3.75 because it just hasn't given me what I want it to give me just yet. And yeah, the writing is really good. It reads like a fiction, so slow but still clear and inspired. And yeah, it is in third person, but also we have some chapters from the perspective of Joyce, one of the main characters, and it's basically just her writing in her diary. And so it's very diary style. She even breaks the fourth wall at some points. Like there was a part where she was like, oh hold on, someone's at the door, and the next chapter she comes in and she's like, oh, that was just a delivery. So it's very fun, very quirky, nothing too deep. This book feels like just a cozy, nice read, small town read where we're just following the characters and their day-to-day lives. Like each of them have things going on in their lives, and we're just seeing that play out alongside, you know, them trying to solve this murder. So yeah, that was in fact my 100-page goal that I had for the night, and I'm very proud of myself for pulling through. But I am going to drop this book for now, and I'm going to start Metal Slinger. I honestly don't know a thing about this book. I just know it's a fantasy romantasy, and yeah, I'm just going head first and seeing where it takes me, because I really just need something to pick me up, something very fast, something very quick, and it seems like that is the book for me. I don't know if I'm going to update you guys again after this or when I will update you, but I'm going to try to read as much as I can this night. I want to pull an all-nighter, but I have church tomorrow, so I don't know how possible that would be, but I'm going to try. Starting Metal Slinger now. Yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Guys, I finished this book. I literally finished it like 10 minutes ago, and I just sat here pondering what exactly my thoughts about this book are, because I loved it. I really loved it, and there's actually nothing I can truly fault this book on. Like there's nothing bad I can really say about this book, because yeah, I was like, oh, it's kind of slow, you know, the beginning was kind of slow and some parts are kind of slow, but in retrospect it really feels like it was just the whole plot and everything being set up. In retrospect, it was not actually slow. It was just going in the way that a work of fiction like this would go. And so I'm like really torn on whether or not I should give this book 5 stars, because I truly want to. And I wanted to, before I started reading it, I thought I would give it 5 stars, but I'm just torn now because I love this book, and the ending made me love it even more. Like there were some things I predicted, but the way everything unraveled and came together, it was just so like I almost cried. The ending was so beautiful and like sad, but very real. But I'm torn between like a 4.5, 4.75, or like 5 stars. I guess you will know because I will put it on the screen eventually when I'm editing this video, but for now I'm going to say 4.5 stars. So I told you guys I was going to start Metal Slinger, and I did. I am 14% through it. I think I have just entered chapter 7, and yeah, it's going pretty interestingly so far. I would say the writing is nothing too special, but still very like inspired and, you know, good for what it is. The book itself, I'm not very sure what is happening or where it's going. This is basically following a girl called Brain. She is a part of this community or people called Alaha, and they were exiled to live on the sea by these people called the Kenta, the land, what are they called, land movers, land owners, I don't know, whatever, but they live on the land, and they sentenced the Alaha to live on the sea. But every year they are allowed to come to the land and come and get some food and stuff from the market once a year. And Breen is what is called an urchin, like someone that's not really, you know, well to do, that has nothing really going for themselves, but she's a part of the guard, or she's training to be part of the guard. And so she joins them to go for this once in a year market thing with her friends, and one of those friends is actually the son of the captain of the entire community. They've been friends since they were young, and apparently there's a romance there. I'm really not explaining this well, am I? Look, I let me just say before we get further into this video that this video is not going to be very coherent. This video is going to be quite chaotic because at this point I'm just scrabbling, like I'm just trying to get not only enough reads but also quality reads. So it's going to be very jumbled, and so is my brain, so please have mercy. I'm really liking the, I don't know if I would call it found family, but it's like a friend group situation, and it's kind of cute. But look, I'm not really feeling the romance yet. Like I said, they've been friends since they were little, so it's a best friends to lover situation, and it feels like insta love because we did not get to see it start and blossom. So I'm not too keen on it quite yet, but I'm pretty sure there's about to be another love interest, so sign me up for that. I just finished Metal Slinger, and I've just been sitting here for the past few minutes thinking, cause like, how did I not clock that? That's so crazy. I haven't been filming me reading this book, but I knew there was going to be a plot twist at the end. Like, that's most of what people rave about concerning this book. So I had to film my reading the last few chapters and also my reaction, and that was crazy. Like, I did not expect that, and I'm thinking back, I'm wondering how I did not clock that, because in hindsight it was almost kind of obvious, but it was like just seeped into it in such a way that you would not expect it, and so I did not. So I was gagged. But yeah, the ending felt like underwhelming in a way. I don't know if that was intentional, and I don't know what more I would have wanted the ending to be like, but it still felt kind of underwhelming. I don't know. I'm very conflicted about this book. I need to go check fan art for this book because there are some things I'm trying to picture in my mind, and it's a little hard. I will say I really did like it. Like, there's no actual thing I can pinpoint that I disliked when it comes to this book. The plot was so good. It was so, I wouldn't even say fast paced, but it was steadily paced, and there was no point where I was like, oh, I'm bored. I'm kind of in a haze right now, but I do think this book has, will I say, cured my reading slump, because I really want to like dive into another fantasy book right now. But I started Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and I don't know, I have no thoughts about it. I'm like 3% into it. Her car broke down, and this guy is helping her like tow it or something. That's where I am in the book. That's not a spoiler. It's literally like the first few pages. So I'm very interested in seeing where that goes. I started reading it because I heard it's like a really, really good romance, and you know, it tugs at your heartstrings. Very sad at the end as well. Not sad, sad, but like you cry, baby tears of joy. I don't know. But that's why I picked it up, because I want a book that will make me feel something. But I think I think I would actually find that in a fantasy book. I need like another fantasy romantasy book that will also get me my feelings, because this one did not really get me my feelings. Like, yes, I was like, oh, this is crazy, and I was very interested, but it did not have any like emotional content per se, in my opinion. I think I'm going to give Metal Slinger 4 stars. I'm going to, I don't know, what am I going to do now? I feel like I can't even carry on. So maybe this book actually is a 4.5, because it has kind of disheveled me. I'm going to probably either start Part of Your World or Caraval, because I read like the first 2 pages of Caraval, and it was like letters between her and the master of the Caraval games, whatever. And I guess I'm intrigued. So I might read that, or I might look for another romantasy. But obviously, you will find out. I'll see you guys around. So I've been here searching for Metal Stinger fan art, and tell me why I can't seem to find any. Like, they're showing me fan art for every single book, but the one I actually asked for, like, thanks, I actually did need to see that picture of Jude and Cardam, but it's not what I asked for now, is it? Like, does that mean people are not making fan art for Jovi and Ika? Because if not, you all need to get right to it, because I need it. Thanks. Bye. Hey guys, I don't even know when last I updated you or spoke to you, but since then I have finished 2 books, which is not much, but also like still a huge feat for me, especially right now. I finished Caraval, which was quite interesting. You know, this book follows Scarlett and Donatella, 2 sisters living in this abusive situation after their mother goes missing. Scarlett is the main character. She's the older sister, and every year since this whole thing happened with her mother, she has been sending letters to the master of the Caraval games, asking and, you know, begging for an invitation to play or watch these games. And these games are just mystical situations where people play weird games and try to figure out mysteries in order to win magical prizes. So every year she sends a letter, and every year she gets no response back, until one year when she's like basically giving up. She's kind of over it. She barely even believes in the whole Caraval magical life anymore. She sends the final letter, basically a goodbye letter, to the master of these Caraval games, and he actually sends one back along with 3 tickets and invitations to the Caraval games. So yeah, at first she is hesitant. She doesn't want to go because she feels like in their current state of being and their current life, it would be very detrimental. So she refuses to actually go, but her sister forces her basically to go alongside Julian, who is the male main character. And so many things happen. There are twists, betrayals. Nothing is as it seems in this whole world of Caraval. But yeah, I really liked this book. I did. It's just something in the writing that wasn't really meshing well with my spirit. I don't know if it was a typographical thing or an editing thing, or the author actually not being very educated on grammatical accuracies, but there was a lot of issues with punctuations and lack thereof, and also the displacement of it all, and it just kind of took me out of the story. It just, I don't know, it made me not very excited because I am keen to point out those things, because those things really interest me, like the grammatics of it all, the intricacies of it all. And so I was just kind of upset at the fact that this is such a popular and well-known book, and yet there were so many grammatical inaccuracies. The writing in itself also felt quite clunky and scrambled. It felt like she didn't really know exactly where she was going with it. But to be fair, there were like really good one-liners and like sentences, paragraphs that I actually noted and appreciated because they were good within themselves. But like the writing as a whole just it did not bode well with me. The plot itself was generally like pretty good. I did enjoy the book. I also enjoyed the little romance with Julian. I liked how everything unfolded. It was quite interesting. I will say though, the twists at the end, they didn't really surprise me much, or as much as people said they would, or I thought they would. So I was kind of like, okay, interesting. But I did like how everything unfolded and unraveled and came together at the end. I also liked how I felt and saw the growth in the female main character, Scarlett. Like by the end of the book, she had almost become an entirely new person, and she was just very much more confident in herself and her abilities. And I really, really enjoyed and appreciated that, because at the beginning of the book she was quite annoying. I will see that her sister too was also quite annoying, but like I said, I liked how everything came together at the end, and it made sense. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't my favorite thing in the world. I just hope that it gets better writing wise as the books progress in this series, and I've heard that is the case, so hopefully it rings true and I end up actually connecting more to the writing when I read the rest of the books in the series, because I plan to, and I am very intrigued by all of it. I decided to give this book 3.75 stars because, like I said, it was good, but it didn't wow me by any means, and it wasn't the best thing ever. I don't think it was a 4-star, but it wasn't like below 3.5, you know what I mean? So we had to find a little bit of a middle ground there, so 3.75. And then I read Angels and Demons by Dan Brown, and I read this book actually because I don't know if you can see that, but I have the Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, but I did not know that this was a series or whatever, and I did not buy the first book, which is actually this Angels and Demons, so I had to read it as an ebook on my iPad first so I can go into that one. And I really, really, really like this book. Like, I did not expect to like it as much as I did. In the beginning it was a bit like slow and just not making too much sense. It was almost feeling like information was just being thrown at me, but then it all came together with the plot, and oh my god, like I really liked this book. It follows Robert Landon. He is a religious iconology and symbology professor, and he studies these things. He just has a lot of knowledge about religious symbology. So one day he gets a call by a random person asking him to come help them figure out this case about somebody that has been murdered, and something that eventually explodes into like a huge terrorist situation. And yeah, he just does that throughout the book. We follow him actively just trying to figure things out. Like, it was so good. I obviously don't want to tell you too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but I really, really enjoyed it. Definitely, some Scientology, Illuminati, even Christian propaganda in the book. It depends on which side you are leaning to and what connects with you, I feel. But it was also definitely thrilling and interesting in the horrid way that these gory activities and terrorist activities were being carried out. So I love the thriller aspect of it, and I also love the mystery aspect of it because it was very intriguing. This book will really make you think, especially if you're having like thoughts already and just conflicting feelings about religion and just things like that. You might actually enter a bit of an existential crisis, so beware and be warned. It had me feeling scared in the way that Illuminati conspiracy theories had me feeling scared when I was younger. you know, when they will make all these videos and magazines, oh Beyonce, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Yeah, it reminded me of that feeling, and it wasn't the best thing ever, but I appreciated, you know, how it evokes critical thinking, you know what I mean? It almost felt like a history book of sorts, but like with an actually convincing and interesting plot that we were following, and the way everything came together at the end was so like I did not expect it, but also I did. It just made so much sense, but also no sense at all. And that is one of the things that I really liked about the book in general. I personally cannot imagine how much research and knowledge had to be acquired to actually write this book, because you can tell he knows so much about this topic. I also really enjoyed the slight, like very subtle, very slight romance subplot. It wasn't even a subplot, like it was just happening somewhere in the background, but I really enjoyed it. But you could definitely tell that it was a case of a woman being written by a man, especially a man at the time that this book was written. Because why did we have to know, like immediately she was introduced, that she has slender waist and small breasts? Like, was that really necessary? I don't know. But aside from that, I really did enjoy the romance subplots. I enjoyed how action packed it was. I enjoyed the writing in general. Like, it was just so good, and I loved the woman. She was so confident, self-assured, badass even. And yeah, I really liked it. I would absolutely recommend if you're into any of the things that I just said. And I really can't wait to get into the next book, The Da Vinci Code. I'm pretty sure that's like the most acclaimed book in the series, so I'm excited and really intrigued by what I am going to find when I read that book, whenever I read it. For the longest time, I thought that this book would be a 4-star, but by the end of the book, I was like actually really debating whether I would give it a 4.75 or a 5-star, and I truly think I'm going to give it 5 stars. Like, I did not expect it by any means, but I really feel like it is a 5-star. Like, I don't know, I really don't know. Like, is there any actual thought process going into it? Like, was it the most amazing thing ever? No, but the way I felt by the end of it honestly felt 5-star-esque. So yeah. So I finished that book earlier today, and then I started Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. And I started this book because, one, it is the book I'm supposed to read for a book club that I am on Facebook, but also I wanted, you know, to try romance again. If you don't know, I'm not the biggest romance fan. It annoys me, it pisses me off how corny, cringy and unrealistic it is a lot of the time, and I haven't found like an actual romance book that I genuinely liked. So I just wanted to try this, also because people claim that it's very emotional and, you know, it makes you cry at the end, and I really, that's kind of the vibe I'm looking for, you know. So I started it. I'm like 10% into it, and I don't know, guys. I really don't know. This book follows Alexis. She's 37 years old. She goes for a funeral, her great aunt's funeral, in this place, I think Minneapolis. And then on her way back home, she somehow gets stuck in a ditch at this random town, okay? And she's there for a while, but then this guy shows up and is able to tow her out of this ditch, and it turns out that he is the mayor of this little random town. He is also the main character, obviously. And so she thanks him, all of that. They go their separate ways, but then they bump into each other once again at this bar in the same town, because she can't really go home, I guess, at that time of the night because it's foggy, windy, I don't know. So they bump into each other, one thing leads to another, and they go home together and they have a one-night stand. She runs away at 4 a.m. in the morning because she can't believe she did this. This isn't usually like her. She doesn't do one-night stands, but then she went home with this random man, you know, and actually did a one-night stand. But it's not, you know, her usual thing, but obviously it had to happen for this particular man, okay? So she goes home, she even leaves her heel there, like on some Cinderella type shit. And when she gets to her house that she lives in alone, by the way, she's sneaking in for some reason. And then she finds out that her brother is there and he has been waiting for her. And then he starts questioning her. He starts asking her, where have you been, blah, blah, blah. And because they tell each other everything, she tells him what happened and how she had a one-night stand with this guy. And then he's like, you're having an existential crisis. He's even going ahead to ask her if she used protection. A 37-year-old woman, your brother, I get that he's a twin brother or whatever, but your brother is asking you, did you use protection because you had a one night, like you're 37 years old, and she's like, yeah, I have an IUD. But is this a regular conversation you guys have with your brothers? The son literally just said, so sorry, but as I was saying, I just did not like the fact that he did all that, because what the hell is wrong with you? And then he goes ahead to do something even worse and way more selfish and leaves his sister out to dry. And it's just like, what is wrong with you? Like, what? First of all, I don't understand why they introduced me to that character, because that was just meant to upset me. Like, was that the purpose of introducing me to her brother? Because I did not like a single thing about him, about the interaction. Like, yeah. So she's going through some things because she has just broken up with her ex-boyfriend of 7 years, who is also like 10 years older than her, and her parents are also like really weird because they want her to be a doctor, and like it's a whole thing. But nothing in this book so far is resonating with me. Nothing in this book is hitting. The writing is actually not good as well. Like, it's almost too simplistic. I don't want to say Wattpad-esque, but that's almost what it's feeling like. Like, there are also punctuation errors. Like, what is happening with all the punctuation errors? Like, are these you guys' favorite writers? Like, are these the writers that you guys are constantly yapping about on book talk? I don't know about all that, but yeah, I just it's not looking good right now. I will tell you guys, I'm probably just not acclimated with the writing right now, so maybe it gets better, but it's really not looking like what I wanted and what I was hoping for when I started it. So yeah, I'm going to carry on and I will see you when I see you. I am going to start Six of Crows. I don't know why. I have been putting off this book for a long time, and for some reason that's just what is calling to me right now. I have already read the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I read it in like 2 days and I love that trilogy. It's like a 4.5-star series for me, and yeah, I am just excited to get back into this world because I love Leigh Bardugo's writing. I love, you know, her world building, and I'm excited to just immerse myself in her space and her world once again. So this book, Six of Crows, is about Kaz and his band of misfits. Actually, I'm not sure if they're all misfits, but his band of people who come together to plan and actually do a heist. So yeah, I guess you just follow them doing all that. I've heard there's like incredible found family inside here, and I do know Kaz already because I did watch the Shadow and Bone show on Netflix, but obviously that is not the same story. This story is completely different because they had to like combine Shadow and Bone and then this, you know. So yeah, I'm interested to see what this story holds because I've heard great things, especially in the past few days. I've had so many people talk about this book, people that I trust. So yeah, let's start Six of Crows. I really forgot how much I love this world and Leigh Bardugo's writing, because like I am already enamored. I'm already really intrigued and interested in seeing how this unravels. And yeah, this is how you write a book. Like, this is how you show yourself as a writer. Not that mediocre type shit, no tea, no shade. But yeah, less than 2 chapters in, I'm already excited, I'm already obsessed, I'm already living for this. And I think that's saying something. Okay, so I'm going to continue with this book and I'm going to immerse myself in this world and I'm going to love it. I know for a fact I'm going to love it. I hope this is not me jinxing it, but I can feel it, you know? So I was reading Six of Crows and I'm loving it. Like, I'm going to give you my thoughts on that later. But then I randomly started listening to The Wicked King, the second book in the Folk of the Air series, on audiobook because I was doing some work and I just needed something to be listening to. And tell me why I haven't stopped listening to it. Like, throughout today I've just been listening to it and it's so freaking good. I'm literally at the last chapter and I decided to just film a little bit so I can get my reactions. Apparently there's like a really huge plot twist at the end, but some things have happened that could be considered plot twists, and like they were intriguing and stuff, but I really hope that's not like the main plot twist that people have been talking about because it's a bit underwhelming. So I decided to film my reaction to reading the last chapter and the epilogue so you guys can see if I do have a reaction and if there is actually a huge plot twist. That's crazy. I can't believe he did that to her. But still, that was quite underwhelming. So I have just finished The Wicked King by Holly Black, the second book in the Folk of the Air series, and yeah, I really liked it. I don't know why I'm acting to it. I actually really liked it. It's just the ending was a bit underwhelming. You know, I don't know what I expected, but I expected a bit more, and I did not get that. So that's why I'm being, you know, bitchy about it. But I really did enjoy this book, like thoroughly enjoyed this book. I thought the writing was so good, like so beautiful, like poetic even. I'm so obsessed with Holly Black's writing and I think she's an amazing writer. I also love her way of plotting and her pacing. This book was quite fast paced, like things were just happening and happening. Like there was no point where I was bored and I really enjoyed that. I obviously cannot tell you what this book is about because it's the second book in a series and that will be spoiling the series, but I will say the series in general follows Jude, a human girl who was living in the human world and then something happens one day and she's forced to come and live in the fairy world with her twin sister and her elder sister who is also half fairy. um that's kind of all I can tell you. She just tries to make her way in this unknown land where she doesn't have any power and is just a mere mortal. I love Jude so much. I think she's so strong and confident and like badass. She's not that annoying. Oh my, I don't know if I can do it. No, if something needs to be done, she will get it done, and she will get it done with pride and with vim and valor. I just love her so much. I think she's one of the best fantasy main characters I've ever read. She's just so headstrong and I don't know, I just really love her. On the other hand, I hate her twin sister Taryn. I don't know if you guys have watched the vlog where I read The Cruel Prince. It was 18 hour, was it 18 hour reading vlog? Yeah, 18 hour reading vlog. And I talked a little bit about my hatred for Taryn because I also read The Lost Sisters, which is a novella from Taryn's POV, and I rated that book like 2.5 stars because I hate Taryn. I don't know what to tell you. I really just hate Taryn, and I hated her more in this book because she did even worse things. So like, I don't know, there's no going back from that. It's so funny because Jude loved her so much, and Jude forgave her after she hurt her in the first book, and then she betrayed her again. So I don't know how they could ever come back from that. Like doing that, like betraying your twin sister like that over and over again. Like what? But yeah, the book in general was so good. I really enjoyed it. I actually can't wait to get into the third and final book, but I'm also scared like what is going to happen. I'm very intrigued. I think I'm going to settle for a 4.5 for this book because I really enjoyed it, but the ending was so quite underwhelming, as I've said, and that's what's holding me from giving it 5 stars. If the ending was really good, like blew my mind the way I thought it would, I'm definitely sure I would have given it 5 stars, but that was not the case, unfortunately. So 4.5, that's really good still. Yeah, I was reading Six of Crows before I randomly started this book, and I'm currently 50% through it, and I'm really enjoying it. Libadugo is another writer that I just love her writing. It's not as poetic as Holly Black's, but it's very, like, I don't know what word I would use. It's very literary, it's very intuitive, it's very inspired. The book is written in third person but from multiple point of views, and actually I'm really enjoying it. Like I've been enjoying third person writing a lot more these days, and I think it's because sometimes when the writing is in first person, you can really just see and hear and know like every single thing the character is thinking, and sometimes their thoughts are annoying. Like we have so many annoying FMCs that I hated being in their minds. You know, I actually would have appreciated third person so I cannot fully know what the hell is going through this girl's mind because it's pissing me off. And yeah, I think a lot of the time I do appreciate third person because it removes me from that and actually just helps me see a more like a wider view of things. I will say this book was quite slow for like the first 30% because we're just following cars and how he runs this his gang to him being approached and offered this heist job, to put it lightly, and then we follow him, you know, trying to bring a team together, a good enough team to actually pull this heist off. And yeah, now we're into the nitty-gritty of it all. We're at the point where they're actually in the town where the heist is supposed to happen, and yeah, I think things are really picking up now, and I'm excited to see what more happens and how everything unfolds, and if they even, you know, do this heist job or do it properly. Like I'm just really intrigued. Hey guys, I don't know when last I spoke to you, but here I am, and I have, you know, some updates to give you. I finished Six of Crows, and I feel like I've already said most of my thoughts and opinions about this book. It was really good. The writing was really good. There's nothing I can pinpoint in this book that I did not like. Like the pacing was really nice. There were some points where it was quite, I wouldn't say slow, but it was not like the fastest thing ever, but at the end of the day it was really good. The only qualm I have is that I thought there was going to be like a plot twist at the end of this book or something, you know, really gripping at the end of the book. And yeah, there were plot twists, like something happened, but it was not very like shocking. It was a bit predictable. So I'm just hoping that it ended the way it did to set up for the next book, and I have like really high hopes for the next book. I feel like that's truly going to be like a 5-star really good book, but like I just felt a bit underwhelmed with the ending of this one. That being said, I decided to give this book 4.5 stars. I think that's what I settled on because it was really good. It just didn't give the 5-star feelings, and also like I said, the ending. And then I read this book. This is Cradle and All. This book, honestly, I don't even know what I would say about this book. It was interesting. Like I read it in like 4 hours. It was very entertaining, but it was mostly entertaining because of how outlandish it was. Like this book has major religious sensationalism and fanaticism. I honestly don't know how I felt about this book. The writing was okay. It wasn't the best thing in the world, but it wasn't the worst thing ever. It was very straightforward, to the point, clear. You would not have a hard time reading it. Like it's very quick, very easy. The plot in itself was just really weird, interesting, but weird. and I don't really know how I feel about it, but I did enjoy the book for what it was. Honestly, I think I'll just give it like a 3 star because it wasn't bad. Should I give it 3 star or 2.5? I don't know, maybe 3 star because the writing was okay and it was okay for what it was. Personally, it was just weird, you know. So that's that about that. I also started this other book, The Scattered Bones, and to be honest, I started this book purely and solely because I saw one TikTok, one singular TikTok. I don't know if I'll put it on the screen or something, but that's the only TikTok I saw concerning this book, and I decided to download it and start it. And I am like 40 something percent into it, and I'm liking it. The writing is really, really good, like poetic, like lyrical. You can tell this author is a huge like grammarian or just very well versed in the English language space. But it just feels quite, I wouldn't say slow, but it's kind of, I'm not sure how I feel about the pacing. It's like slow but not slow. It's just very weird pacing. The book is basically about Sela. Okay, she is a young girl in this world where like gods require sacrifices and people that will give up their lives for them. So from a very young age she is brought up and she is groomed essentially to be this vessel for a god. This god requires young ladies, beautiful young ladies, untouched, pure, essentially, that she can inhabit until they get slightly old, and then she moves on to the next vessel. So from a young age this girl is groomed by her parents. You know, she's kept in one room, nobody is allowed to see her, touch her. She's just to be kept pure for this god to inhabit her when she turns 21. Okay, but then at the age of 20 she comes in contact with this guy Cade. He's a thief and he comes into her room trying to steal something, and they kind of build a friendship. He starts sneaking into the temple where she stays. They teach each other. Actually, he teaches her things about just like life outside, because she has no idea how life is outside. She's kept in one single place, just getting ready to be inhabited by this god. And yeah, as things would go, they build a relationship, they fall in love, and apparently that gets like figured out, or that gets found out that she is not pure anymore, and so she's kind of banished and he is killed, and then his bones are scattered across the world in different like perilous environments, and now she has to go and find all his bones so she can bury him appropriately. I don't know how to explain that. I don't even know if I explained that well enough. But yeah, we follow her now trying to find his bones at these different places that are like really dangerous and stuff. She's just undergoing all these trials and tribulations to find his bones, which is like, you know. But there's also a then timeline where we see how things were for her before and how they met, how their relationship builds, stuff like that. And I would say like it just feels a bit insta lovey, because from the very moment she sets her eyes on him she's like, oh my god, I'm overcome with, you know, his essence, and his voice is sending shivers up my spine. It's like, girl, you do not know who this person, you barely have ever had, you haven't ever had a conversation with a man. She literally has not, because she's not allowed to interact with men at all. And once she sees this man she's like, oh my god, I know he's going to ruin me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I guess maybe it makes sense if you think about the fact that, you know, she has never experienced this like this, so experiencing it and coming in contact with somebody that is so imperfectly perfect for the first time, it's like, wow, I guess that in itself can overcome you. But then wouldn't that prove that he's not really her one true love, because he's literally the only man she has ever come in contact with? I don't know, maybe I'm deep in it, maybe I'm thinking too much, maybe I need to suspend my disbelief just a little bit. But yeah, I would say the writing is amazing, like so intricate, so lyrical, honestly sometimes a little much, like a little info dumpy, a little wordy, almost like the writer thinks I'm a genius but also thinks I'm dumb, because she's reiterating things but in different contexts, in different forms, in different ways of putting sentences together. Do you know what I mean? So Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking it. You know, I don't have anything bad per se to say about it. It's just not as great so far as the person that I watched was saying it is. But yeah, I'm just going to continue reading it. I'm actually sorry if you can hear all that noise outside. My neighbors, their children are playing outside and they're screaming as children do. So sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how many books I'm at right now. I think I've read 47 books. So we're on track. If I finish this book, Scattered Ones, it'll be 48. So we're actually really on track. Hi. Yeah, it has been like 4 days since I spoke to you last. Since the last time I recorded, I read 2 books, and I already told you about the first one, The Scattered Bones, and I told you how I was feeling about it, and I'm not going to lie, it didn't end up going well. Okay, that book I gave like 2.5 stars because yeah, it just wasn't that good, and I actually like I'm mad at the person that made me read that book. It helped me to aid my reading goal, but the book itself was kind of bad. Like it did not have any actual thing for me to hold on to. Like when I first started it, I was like, oh, this writing is so good, like it's so poetic. But then it kind of lost the plot because she was being very repetitive, very redundant. It was like, where's the editor? Like this is a short book about like 300 pages, and she said so many things so many times, like reiterated so many points, so many statements, so many sentences, and I was just like, do you think I'm like stupid or something? Like, do you think I didn't hear you the first time? Are you questioning my intelligence? Are you insulting me? Like, what are you doing here right now? I don't know who the author is. I actually have to check. But yeah, I will not be reading any more of her books. The writing was really good in the sense that words were used, appropriately used. There was no problem with the grammar per se, but it just wasn't for me. Like I told you guys, the plot of this book is basically this woman who is raised up in like a situation where she has to serve the gods, and her main purpose is to be a vessel for this particular god who is the god of purity essentially. And this god requires young girls every few years to live in their bodies, and those young girls have to be like pure and holy in every sense of the word. Like nobody can touch them, especially not a freaking man. They get like scrubbed and showered every day. They are like hidden in this temple until they are 21, and the god can inherit or absorb their bodies as vessels until they get even remotely old or start to look even slightly old, and then the god moves on to the next young girl. So this particular girl, Stella, was raised up like this. She did not have any relationship with her family because all they ever did was shelter her, and not just your normal kind of sheltering, like incredibly extensive and unnecessary sheltering. She would not interact with her brothers because they are men, of course. Even her other siblings, like she could not interact. They just kept her one place until she turned like 12, and then she was sent to the temple to continue to live there and isolate there until she is of age to be possessed basically by this god. And so one day this thief killed a member or a devotee of another god who is the god of stealing, which why would there be a god for stealing? But yeah, and so he comes to try and steal something from this god's temple, and he goes to her room. They meet each other, and at first they try not to touch because they don't want to like stain her purity and all that kind of stuff. And of course they fall in love because he's literally the only man she has ever actually come in contact with. I'm trying to give a synopsis, but I'm just spoiling it. Basically, something happens, he gets killed, his bones get scattered across the earth, and she has to now go and find out where his bones are scattered, because apparently she met another person known as the stranger, and at the end of the book we find out who he actually is, who claims that if she can find every part of his body, every bone that was scattered across the earth, and put them together, he can bring him back to life. And so that's what she does. She goes to the ends of the earth to find his bones, up and down. She goes from, honestly, okay, I'm going to shut up because I was about to literally just spoil it, but like, it's just so crazy to me how a girl who was completely sheltered for the entirety of her life all of a sudden is able to fight monsters and living undead creatures, like, and she won every single one of them. Yeah, they said she was injured, this, that. But are you for real right now? Are you for real? Like, this actually relatively privileged girl who has never done an ounce of work in her life, except for when she met Cade and they started learning how to climb roofs. He started teaching her how to, you know, scale roofs. That's literally the most she has ever done, and all of a sudden now she's able to go to the ends of the earth with just a horse and defeat these creatures and even fight a god. Like, it just got too outlandish. It got too, like, we lost the plot so bad. So yeah, the plot was not great. The writing was also not great. It was just going up and down, very repetitive, in every sense. It didn't hit the mark, and it actually really upset me because I was ready for that book to be a 5-star. I really was, and that did not happen. But yeah, that was that. I gave it 2.5 stars, as I said. Not the worst thing ever, but not the best thing ever, you know. So after that, I decided to pick up Daisy Jones and the Six, and I actually started this book like a little bit ago. I read like 13% of it, and I thought it was okay, nothing, you know, really that deep. But then I decided to just read it again because it's relatively short. I thought it would be an easy read because of how it's written. It's like interview style, and yeah, it was easy to read. But at the end, tears were shed. Like, the actual only clip I have of me reading this book was me sobbing to the last few pages, and I'm going to put that right here. It was a lot. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. The writing style was so freaking like interesting and intriguing. So much information was being given, but it didn't feel like it was thrown at you. It was just, I don't know how to explain this honestly, but I really liked the writing style. I enjoyed every single aspect of this book. The characters were so incredibly real, like so freaking real and just raw, and it was just a true exploration of how, you know, celebrity lifestyle is, and Hollywood, and how things go there. It truly felt like a real band, like these were real people telling their story. And at the end, I sobbed my eyes out, like I could not stop crying. And all I have to say about that is justice for Camilla. This is my first ever Taylor Jenkins book, and I'm so ready to explore more of her discography. I think she has a book coming out next year. I'm so interested in that. Apparently it's space themed and it's like about a NASA agent something, I don't know. But I'm excited to read more of her books and also the new one. So yeah, I gave that book 5 stars. I am about to actually film a bookish sleepover, a Christmas bookish sleepover, and I'm going to read Christmas books. That's definitely going to be out by the time you're seeing this video, so maybe you can go check it out, I don't know. But these are the books I am planning to read. This sticker is pissing me off. I don't know why they do this. Like, why is this necessary? And now you ruined my entire book, so thanks a lot, Rachel. I don't know which one actually I'll read. Debating between these two. This one is about a girl who sees this guy on a bus. Like, she just sees him while she's in the bus from the window, and for some reason she believes that he's her soulmate. And then the next time she sees him, it turns out that he is her best friend's boyfriend. I'm sorry if you're hearing sounds like fireworks are going out, because it's literally Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. Like, Merry Christmas, guys. This one is about a woman, Gail, who is a successful businesswoman, but, you know, at the price of her relationship with her daughters. So now she wants to work on that relationship, and she decides to spend Christmas with them. Her 2 daughters that only spend Christmas with each other and have done that for very long. Now she's getting into the mix, and obviously we just see how all that unfolds. I'm pretty sure there's also a romance subplot with one of the daughters or both of them. I don't really know, but I think I'm leaning more towards this because this is such a popular Christmas book. So many people have spoken about this book and talked about it and even raved about it. So I want to see what it's all about. I've actually never read a Christmas book, so this will be a first, and I'm excited. So I'm going to read this for my sleepover video. I don't know how much I will update you because I'm going to talk about it in that video. So if you really want like info and my review and real time thoughts about this, watch that video. Okay, don't be shy. Hey guys, so I realized I kind of left you guys hanging. I haven't really given any updates. I think the last update I gave was that I was going to read this book, and I did film like a bookish sleepover. I talked a lot about this book, so I'm not going to talk much about it right now. Just know that I did not enjoy it. It was it was a book, you know, but it was not very enjoyable. I just really hated the tropes of this book. I hated the characters. The plot was really messy, disjointed. The writing was clunky. Like, a lot about this book did not sit right with me. And like I said, I'm not going to get into it, but you can go and check that video out. It is a bookish sleepover video, and I talked a lot about this book and my hatred, not hatred per se, but like it just was not very good. I ended up giving it 2.75 stars because that's honestly like highest I could go. I'm not going to lie, it wasn't like the worst thing I've ever read. Like, I have read worse books. It was just very annoying. The characters were so incredibly insufferable, annoying, especially the male main character. I hated him. Like, I've never read a worse book boyfriend in my life. It's just, he was really bad, and I don't understand the appeal. But yeah, this book was a 2.75, not what I expected at all. I don't understand the love for this book. I just didn't enjoy it. That's all I'm going to say. But because of this book, I reached my reading goal in time. I have officially read 50 books in the year of 2024, and I don't know when this video is coming out. Hopefully it will be before the new year. But yeah, I think I will end up reading maybe 1 or 2 more books before the end of the year. But I'm really excited that I reached my goal. I was just really keen on it. It's not like it's anything too important. It's not like it's something you have to do, but it just was something that I knew would make me feel very good about myself, and it did. So that brings us to the end of this video. If you watched to this point of the video, what can I say? Thank you so much, because I know this video is about to be long as hell. I'm going to need to cut so many things out, but I really do appreciate you watching and staying to the end. It truly means the world to me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram if you want to be book besties or just besties in general. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas, and I wish you a Happy New Year. Bye.